The first thing I had to do was figure out what was the tool with which I was going to measure the efficiency of a data center and turn it into a measurable amount of dollars generated. And what Samantha told me was you use gigawatts, the electricity that it produces. And she told me that 1 gigawatt runs about 100,000 servers. And the servers are the computers that go into the data centers with the GPUs, the CPUs, the memory, the whole thing. She then told me that 1 GPU or 10,000 or 100,000 servers would produce $10 to $19 billion worth of revenue, depending upon their efficiency over a year. So then what I did was I said, well, okay, in 2030, the hyperscalers, she told me, would have control of 135 gigawatts of power. And I used the median number and said, okay, at 15 billion per gigawatt, that will generate $2 trillion in revenues a year. Now, then what I had to do was come out and say, or understand of the hyperscalers, who was going to come up with that and what kind of effect will it have on their revenues and their earnings. So the first thing I did was track the revenues of each company and the margins of each company and the income of each company, and then I show you here their PE ratio and their PEG ratio. They'll come into play a little bit later. Then to give you some representation, I'm showing you the margins, the PE ratio, and the PEG ratio on NVIDIA, Palantir, Tesla, and Apple. And you can see the margins differ dramatically. The PE ratios differ dramatically. As you can see, these run somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 for the hyperscalers, and you have Palantir at 288 and Tesla at 340, and then this is their PEG ratio. If you aren't familiar with PEG ratio, it basically tells you, based on the growth rate of the company, how fairly priced is the stock. And a 1 is a fair price stock. A below 1 is an undervalued, and above 1 shows some potential overvalue. And you can see how it compares here. Then I got into the real interesting part of it. And I basically said, what is the revenue generated from the current GPUs, of the current gigawatts that each of the companies own and are using. And here you see Amazon is generating, that's $101 billion worth of revenue off the GPUs that they are using. And they currently are using 23 GPUs and are expecting to increase that to 80. And you can see the numbers on the others. Current GPUs here on Google, 22, 38. Meta is a different story because for the most part, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are going to sell they're going to use some of it for their own operations, but they're going to make it basically available to the industry through enterprise and to individuals to access their gigawatts. So here you see that there is a difference. Whereas Meta's hasn't really come out and said that they're going to put them out on the market. There, as you can see, they don't have, from what I could find, any GPUs actively being used, but they're going to use them to help their advertising delivery on Facebook and their other platforms. So that gives me some representation. Now, the other thing that stood out to me was, look at this number here. This is the average margins of the various hyperscalers. But then I went and I asked, what is the margins on such as Amazon Web Services? As you can see, Amazon's overall margins are 11%, but on their Amazon Web Services, it's 37%. A very big difference. Google actually, and this is kind of shocking, their revenues are higher, and I think that's because that's the advertising business, as opposed to this has some more investment into it in brick and mortar or data center and concrete. Meta, again, higher margins, and then Microsoft would be projecting higher margins as well. So our average is 28 as opposed to 44. The other thing I wanted to share was this is their current revenues, and collectively that's $1.5 trillion. They're going to add to those revenues $827 billion. So in roughly 50% increase overall to the projected revenues of these four companies over the next 3 years. That's kind of like creating a new product that doesn't have a lot of overhead, and then adding that to your existing business, which said to me, this is a gold rush. At least that's what I thought at first. So then what I did was take these numbers and challenge them by giving them to Samantha and Bard, my AI agents, and asking them, I had my numbers of what I thought this would do to the prices of Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft stock. Then I asked, as I said, Samantha to give me her estimates of prices for 26, 27, and 28 from these four companies, and I was shocked. And so then when I was shocked, I said, okay, this is what I believe. This is what you believe. Explain to me why we aren't at the same numbers. And I took that and then put it into my interpretation and came up with a realization that one of these companies is going to do extremely well as a result of AI being introduced to their product mix. Another one is the one that I thought would do best is the one who's going to do worst. And it has to do with valuation. And that is to say, how much has the market already factored into their current price what's going to happen over the next 3 years? And I've learned so much as I do this with Samantha that valuation, you can increase your revenues, you can increase your profit margins, but if your PE ratio is out of whack, in other words, if the market has already priced in your future growth, your price ain't going nowhere. Now again, FOMO may step in and push a stock price extraordinarily high, but be aware. It's just like I showed you here, and that's why I showed it to you. This is their PE ratios. They're realistic. This is NVIDIA's, Palantir's, Tesla's, and Apple's. And if you don't understand a PE ratio, it's how many years of earnings will it take to equal the current price of the stock. So in the case of NVIDIA, it'll take 39 years. In the case of Palantir, it'll take 288. That is a valuation that the market has put on the stock. Tesla, it'll take 349, and Apple 30. That has to be considered when you go and buy a stock. The same as if you go into a grocery store and oranges, some oranges are $2 a pound and other oranges are $200 a pound. For some reason, the market is putting a exaggerated, or maybe it's justified, margins, but you got to know, why is that PE ratio so different? Okay, let's get back to these stocks. What is their price going to be? I think there is a real opportunity in one of these stocks. Death trap in another one, and the other two are okay. Because what I expect from a stock is to double in price over the next 3 years. And some do and some don't. What was it? Every year, I think it's 300, here it is. Every year, 373 stocks or thereabouts will get over a 100% return. I'm looking for a 3-year, but 273 of them will do it in 1 year. About 125 will get a 200% rate of return. That's not the hyperscalers. But these are the companies that are creating a new product that will be with us for the rest of our lives. And it will change our lives. And they will addict us to that product, much as they have addicted us to the internet. You're addicted to it, much as they have addicted you to a mobile phone. You don't go anywhere without it. You won't go anywhere without AI. So these are 4 stocks that must be in your portfolio. The question is, over the next 3 years, how do you allocate them? Which one of them is overvalued at this time? This is the kind of research I do for my tribe. My tribe is people who sign up to get access to the in-depth analysis of stocks, aided by Samantha and Bard, and they've done a hell of a job. And I've helped them. I got to take some of the credit as well. And what is that? We put $668,000 into this bus portfolio on May the 1st of 2025. Today, it's up to $1.6 million. 668 to 1.6. You do the math. I don't think you're going to find this anywhere else. The only other place I recall that I saw somebody do this kind of return was Kathy Woods. And that was back when she jumped on Tesla and the EV market became FOMO, and it took off. You know what's happened since. But I don't think that's going to happen here, because this is an addiction. When you find out what AI can do for you, when the medical field finds out what the AI can do for you, when you can sit in your basement and increase in less than a year your return on your portfolio from 668 to 1.6 million, and I know it's going to go above 1.668 before the 1st of May. When you can make $1 million at age 81 managing a stock portfolio, what are you going to be able to do in the legal profession, in the accounting profession, in the sports betting profession? What are you going to be able to do? And how are you going to be able to change people's lives when you have access to all the information to help you make a better decision in any field you want? So, if you want access to this, go into the description, find the link, and I'll give you 14 days free to look at it, and you'll see, is it Amazon, is it Google, is it Meta, or is it Microsoft that's going to benefit over the next 3 years to increase their stock price from today to over 100%. And maybe if everything goes better, as much as 200%. Okay, that's what I did this weekend. Now I'm going to go watch some professional football. I hope you have a good week. I hope that I can intrigue you to decide, I want to become a millionaire. I want to make $1 million a year. Why not? It's just there for the taking.